life is just like a video game. Obviously, life is much more complicated than your typical RPG or RTS game, and the consequences of life can be much more severe than a video game. I grew up playing the Age of Empires. The very first thing you do is dial in your economy, and if you mess this up in the first seconds of the game, then your game is over and you will get absolutely destroyed by the opponent. I think that this aspect of the game is very similar to life in the aspect that we should get a grip on our finances very early on. In the game, different civilizations have different economic and military advantages, and the point is being able to take the advantages you're given within a certain empire and capitalize off of their strengths and then capitalize off of your enemy's weaknesses. The idea is that life is just like this. We're dealt different hands, everybody has different circumstances in life, and we should try to focus on maxing out our own stats and our own strengths. The most important stat or strength in life for you to max out is self-awareness. In this video, I'm going to talk about the four main principles of self-awareness and how you can use self-awareness to max out your life and upgrade to the next level. The first principle is detachment. Detachment is the act of intentionally separating yourself from reality. So recently I've been rereading The Mastery of Self by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. And in the book he tells the story of a shaman who calls himself the Smoke and Mirrors. The shaman gave himself the name the Smoke and Mirrors when he realized that there was this hazy fog between him and the rest of the world that prevented him from communicating his authentic truth to others. The smoky fog in this story is the domestication and preconditioning of society that puts limits on how we see the world and how we interact with it. Ruiz hammers down on this point with using like being the only sober person at a party, for example. So all of the intoxicated people think that this person is intoxicated too because their intoxication is preventing them from thinking and seeing things clearly, but they don't know that the sober person is really sober. Being the only sober person at a party is kind of like breaking out of the matrix and seeing reality objectively for what it is. In Buddhism, this concept is known as samsara, or the wheel of suffering that we perpetuate by doing the same things over and over based off of what is around us. It's so easy to get caught up on society's preconditioning, like you should go to college, you should buy this car, wear these clothes, hang out with these people, listen to this music, and this and that. It's so easy to get caught up in all of this, and none of this is inherently wrong. It's just that you should be able to remember that you're more than these things. You have to understand that in choosing to seek something for happiness, you're also creating that same degree of unhappiness in not having that thing. Ruiz says you become a master of self when you can engage the dream of the planet and everyone in it without losing sight of your authentic self, while maintaining awareness that every choice you make is your own. But how do we maintain that awareness? And that brings me to the next principle, which is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the act of thinking objectively to conceptualize and apply information. This principle reminds me of the book 0 to 1, which is written by Peter Thiel. In the book, Thiel says, if you can find a delusional popular belief, you can find what's hidden behind it. And the most contrarian belief of all is not to oppose the crowd, but to think for yourself. This doesn't mean to dogmatically reject all of society's ideas, but instead leverage the misshapen ideas and reshape the idea by critically thinking and trying to discover what's hidden behind a misshapen idea. And that's really where the book gets its name. It's going from horizontal to vertical, going from 0 to 1. And this leads me to the next principle, which is optimization. Having self-awareness gives you the ability to critically think about areas of your life where you can improve on optimization. For me personally, the area of my life that I need to optimize right now is my time management. So right now I'm in just shy of 40 credit hours in school. I'm working a full-time job, and I'm also trying to build this channel, and it's a lot. It's hard for me to balance time and structure my day most effectively. So some things that I've done is I've pretty much stopped scrolling mindlessly on my phone, and I've started waking up a lot earlier than I was before. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and these two things have given me a little bit more leverage in my day to find more time to work and get more stuff done. Another thing that I'm doing right now is actually intentionally not listening to music. So whenever I get into the car, like the first thing that I do is music. Like music is number one priority. But as of lately, I've been putting on podcasts and audiobooks, just trying to find more productive content that I can engage with. To optimize, I've also focused a lot more on planning and putting a lot more effort into getting my week sorted out, my days sorted out, months sorted out, just like planning ahead of everything, because proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So it's been really hard for me to create downtime just for myself where I relax and just like do stuff that I want to do just for me. I mean, part of that is this channel. I love making these videos, and it's like a creative outlet for me in a way. But having time just to do nothing would be really nice, and this is something I've been struggling with. So that leads me to the next principle, which is empathy. So self-awareness cultivates a sense of mindfulness in the present moment, and being able to recognize and address your emotional state is vital for your happiness and just like overall longevity. To be able to intuitively listen to your body and mind's different needs and wants and address them is a skill cultivated by having empathy. By having empathy for yourself, you then develop the capacity to have empathy for others. When you can really listen to another person and put yourself in their emotional state and really understand what it is they're going through and focusing your attention and your awareness on them, your relationships increase tenfold. So I recently found a quote that I like, and essentially it's empathy is about finding echoes of another person in yourself. And so having empathy is more important than having sympathy. Sympathy addresses another person's emotional state from your point of view, not the other person's. And what this quote is really saying is that it emphasizes the point of putting yourself in another's shoes and just seeing how another person's emotions resonate with your own, and seeing how you could see yourself in their position. In empathy, there is commonality, and in commonality there is connection. The ability to connect with others is a stat in its own right, but I think that self awareness and the ability to connect are close to being the one and the same, because to the degree that you're able to connect with yourself is the degree that you're able to then connect with others. So, in conclusion, the number one weapon against the world today is your self awareness. Max out upgrades on your self awareness and watch as the world suddenly becomes your own game and not someone else's. Because if you don't have a plan for your life, someone else will, and then you're just playing someone else's game. If you're new to the channel, my name is Dallin. I make weekly videos on things like self-improvement, productivity, and just life advice in general. If any of that stuff resonates with you, or that's something that interests you, then please consider subscribing and sharing this channel with anybody who you may feel benefit from it. So I want to thank you guys for watching this far, and have a good day. Thank you. Let's go!